the Fujifilm X-half, a new point-and-shoot compact camera that Fujifilm has just announced a day, 2 days ago at the time of publishing this video. And I have watched a couple of reviews of this camera before making this video today. There was one specific item on the spec sheet of this camera that really caught my attention, and that is the sensor size, which is apparently a Type 1 sensor but vertical, and the crop factor is 2.9 times. The stat reminds you of a specific Nikon camera from many years ago. Yes, I'm referring to the Nikon 1 series, which went defunct. It did not do very well. It made Nikon lose a lot of money together with their key mission action cameras. But I was actually wondering, what if those cameras came out today in year 2025? Would things be very different than just 8 years ago? Hi and welcome back to the channel. I'm Steven from X2 Photos. Today's video will be a quick one, a quick discussion or opinion video on this new Fujifilm X-half camera. Now, speaking of this camera, I won't be reading out the spec sheets because there are a lot of things going on for a compact point-and-shoot fun camera that does not shoot raw photo at all. It is a JPEG only camera and the sensor is vertical. So this is something that either you love it or hate it. Everyone has their own subjective opinion. And I'm not here to debate about the vertical sensor part or the user interface. In the mid-2010s, Nikon had this series of mirrorless cameras, their very first interchangeable lens cameras in mirrorless format, the Nikon 1 series. Back then, those cameras, they did very badly. Nobody wanted to buy them. And even if they were heavily discounted, they were still left sitting on store shelves. Nobody just wanted those cameras because the most common complaint back then was that the sensor was way too small. It should have been micro four thirds or even APS-C. But those were 1-inch sensors roughly with a crop factor of 2.7 times. This new Fujifilm is 2.9. Basically the same thing, not too different. But when I think about the fact that today, Fujifilm can get away with selling a camera with a fixed lens and a small sensor that does not shoot RAW at $850, maybe the Nikon 1 series cameras were way ahead of its time. If those cameras did not come out 7-8 years ago, but way later, maybe those cameras would be doing very well by today. In fact, I was pretty interested in these 1 series cameras, like, what is there not to like about a compact camera that allows me to change lenses and I can keep it in my pocket, right? The thing is that if you look at the used market today, the prices of these Nikon 1 series cameras, they are pretty expensive now. You would be lucky to find one for under $250, except for the oldest model like the Nikon J1. There you can find one for maybe $150 to $200. But I think my favorite model among all of the Nikon 1 series has to be the J3 specifically, that pseudo fox leather finish. I like that a lot, and even though it does not have an EVF, well, pairing that camera with the Nikon 1 10mm 2.8 pancake lens would be fantastic. Yes, the thing is that I couldn't find this combination for under $250. There's no way this thing is going to go for under $250. And that is the thing, because anything more than $250, I would rather buy a used DSLR from 10 years ago, which is still very competent by today. So, do you have any experience with the Nikon 1 series cameras? And if you do, I would love to hear your thoughts about these cameras. I am actually fairly interested. Yeah, maybe it is because of the trend today where people love these cameras, but to me, you know what? I'm considering collecting some cameras that look nice. Not just using them, but also collecting them. That's the thing. Because I collect toys and figurines. I'm a collector of various kinds of things, right? So, what is your opinion on the Fujifilm X-half and also the Nikon 1 series cameras? I would love to hear it from you. To me, well, I find the X-half to be interesting enough. It is something that I would want to use. My only problem is the price. Over here in Asia, the X-half is around $700, not $850, because tariffs in the US, that is a US thing. So even at this $800 price point, I find it really hard to justify. If it is $500 or less, maybe, but we know that it's not happening. And buying one today at $850 might not be a bad idea at all, because who knows, 3 months later you can make a profit of $200 on eBay. That might happen. So until then, these are my thoughts on the Fujifilm X-half and how it reminded me of the Nikon 1 series. What are your thoughts? Let me know down in the comments below.